morning, student. Let us discuss our next topic, that is planning process, or you can say steps of planning. Here the 7 steps are listed. First is setting up of the objective, developing premises, listing the various alternatives for achieving the objective. Fourth one, evaluation of different alternatives. Fifth, selecting an alternative. Sixth, implementing the plan. And last, not the least, that is follow up. So this sequence should be in a proper way. You cannot write the 7th step in number 1 position. Even in the board examination, sometime the question asked like this way: after 4th step, what are the next 3 steps? You just briefly explain. So you must be very thorough about the various steps of planning in a right sequence. So let us discuss in detail the various steps of planning. First is setting up of objective. That means set the targets and result. Let me explain in detail. As organization is set up to realize certain objective, and the first step in the planning process involve laying down clear, specific and measurable objectives for the organization. Measurable here refers to that should be measured in numbers. If you want to increase the sale this year 25% more than the previous year, that it should be expressible in numerical form. And also with respect to each department, the goals are already fixed, or unit within the organization. And that is also important that this objective should be communicated to each unit and employees at all level. That helps to work them according to or towards the achievement of the goal. So first step of planning is setting the objective, and second, developing the premises. What do you mean by premises? That here it is assumptions, predictions regarding future. As future is uncertain, the managers are required to make certain assumptions about the future in terms of customers' preferences, what kind of demand will be in future about the product, competitions, interest rate, whether it is going to increase or decrease, state of economy, whether it is in the boom period or in the depression period in future, government policy and so on. As these assumptions are known as planning premises, and if the plans are drawn without such forecasting, it may not lead to realization of desired goal. And the premises should develop, set the limits within which the planning should be carried out. So thus accurate forecasting is the essence of successful planning. So you have to first forecast the assumptions what is going to be in future, and if accordingly the plans will be made, then definitely organization will achieve the goal. So second is to forecast about the future, that is developing the premises. Now the third step, that is listing the various alternatives for achieving the objectives, or you can say identifying the alternative course of action, means finding various options available to achieve the goals, means how many ways are there to achieve the goal. And all the alternative course of actions which are available for consideration, that we have to identify. And the options so identified may either be a routine one, regular basis, what routine we have to follow, or employee participation may be encouraged to generate an innovative outlook. So what alternative course of actions are available, that we have to list it out and consider all the actions. Now the next one is evaluation of it. Now we have already listed the various alternatives. Now the fourth step, evaluation of different alternatives, means comparing all the available option with their pros and cons, means their advantage and disadvantage. After comparing, we have to select the best one. Means after listing the various possible alternative, it is important to analyze the relative pros and cons of each alternatives in the light of their viability, that is suitability and significances. And this is very important step in planning, as accurate analysis of various alternative is important for taking the correct decisions, है ना. तो we have to evaluate which alternative is the best suitable alternatives for the organization. Now then, if after comparing all the benefits, all the advantage and disadvantage, now we come to the conclusion of decision making, that is to selecting an alternatives. And manager always select an alternatives that appears to be most viable, that is suitable, cost effective. Of course, cost factor should also be taken into consideration, and with the least negative implications. And it's primarily the competence, it is the quality of the manager to assess the alternative based on his or her experience, judgment and at time intuitions. So the many a times a combinations of plan appear to be most feasible. So this is one of the very important step to select the best alternative out of number of alternatives. And then after selecting the alternative, next step of planning is to implementing the plan, that is put the plan in action, doing work as per the direction of plan. This may be done by following the suitable strategy, and also the sub plans may have to be drawn within the framework of the main plan, so that finally that implementation of the plan is done in the sixth step. And now the next, the last one, that is follow up. Follow up means checking, keep on line to find out whether plans are working successfully or not. Means in order to achieve the desired objective efficiently and effectively, regular monitoring of plan is essential, and this helps to ensure that work is progressing as scheduled and timely corrective actions are undertaken. So this is what the last step, that is to follow up time to time whether according to plan all the functions are going on or not. So these all are the 7 steps of planning, and that sequence you must remember, what come in the first, then second, then third. This is very important. Now once again I am repeating the main points: setting up of objective, then developing the premises, that is the possibility, assumptions, listing the various alternatives available for achieving the objective, then evaluating the different alternatives, then selecting an alternatives, implementing the plan and follow up. So in between, 3rd or 4th step can be asked, so you must be very thorough which steps come in which number. So this is what the pattern of questions asked in the examinations. And nowadays you will not get directly a questions, you just simply write the steps of the planning. After third step, what are the remaining step, you just briefly explain. So if you know thoroughly about the right sequence, then you are able to give the answer. So this is what we have discussed, the topic various steps of planning process. Now it's your work to write the notes on the topic steps of planning in a right sequence. If possible, you just explain all the steps with example, that will make you to remember the points in a right sequence. So this is all about the topic, that is planning process. Thank you so much. Take care.